February 18th. So that's coming up less than 1 month actually. And for United States and maybe Taiwan for mid-March in some theaters. And also for Shibu and shojas around the world, this will be available after February 18th. So for this release, we're going to have an English title and also the English voiceover because there has been a request. Sometimes it's always better to show the movie in voiceover version. So we'll try to have the speakers as much as possible. Okay. Yes, I'm seeing this little. Just give me a second, okay, because I'm not. Hey, it's okay. All right, let's continue. Let's continue. Yes. Okay, so I'd like to talk about the title. Okay? So this is a title in Japanese. It's called Aikoku Joshi. Direct translation actually is it's a Patriot Girl, Crimson Bushido. That's like a direct translation. But Master gave us this title, the Cherry Bushido. It was very simple title he gave us. So I guess Cherry Bushido has the image of the crimson, the very deep red as a cherry. But also, as you can see here, it's about cherry blossom, I think. Cherry blossom, and it's about the image of women. It's Patriot Girl, but it refers back to women in cherry blossom image. And also, there's a Mount Fuji behind the scene. So Cherry Blossom in Mount Fuji, it's inspiration of Japan. It's Japanese Yamato spirit. And also there's a sword in the middle. It symbolizes Ame-no-Mioya-Gami's True Bushido spirit, which I'm going to try to talk about this day as well. Okay. So quickly go over some of the story, the overview story. I'm sure people are interested in what kind of movie this is all about. So, main character's name is Shizuka Yamato Shizuka, acted by Yoshiko Sengen. You can see her here today, okay, in this picture. And she's a college senior, and she's also national champion of kendo. So she's a very strong lady. And her father here, he's the owner of a kendo dojo. It's called Yamato Ishinkan in Japan. So she was trained by him all her life. So she is a very, very rare Japanese, a very modern Japanese girl with a very, Bushido spirit and Yamato spirit right inside of her. So one day they're watching the TV, and the news on the TV says that the intercontinental ballistic missile will be launched. It's a warning for Japan, end of February, and from a country called Sodora Republic. It's a neighboring country with the ambition to take over Asian nation and also Japan in the world. So we're referring back to the Chinese Communist Party as well as North Korea. We don't say it directly in the movie, of course, but that's what we're referring back to. And of course, Japanese government says not responding well, saying, "Oh, we regret, the things the same." So not responding to this danger, as usual. So one day she was scouted by this gentleman here. It's a talent agency, and his president, his name is Mr. Takayama. Okay? But in reality, Mr. Takayama has a secret mission. He's a Secretary General of an organization called the Japan Salvation Council, JSC, and they worship a Japanese father god, as you can see in this picture here, Ame-no-Mioya-Gami. Okay? And Mr. Takayama tells her that Japan is in great danger today of extinction, destroying by this evil existence in the spiritual world, and it's called I'm sorry, skip a little bit. Great demon of Hades. Okay, he's actually existence, demon existence in the spiritual world, but also possessed by dark side power. Okay, so Mr. Takayama tells Shizuka that she is the chosen one, okay, to fight against this great demon to protect Japan. So Shizuka starts training with other members and to be able to leave their body, okay, and do the astral travel to the other world, spiritual world, to fight and defeat this demon. Okay, so they start training. They do the hashodo and all this different, trying to go out of body. It's expensive and things like that. And one day, Shizuka, she sees a dream. The Japan is bombed by Sodora Republic, as you can see picture. This is a dream scene with a missile, and she realizes that it's going to be a real dream. The dream comes true. The real bad dream comes true, and she realizes that it's time for them to fight. So they decide to travel to the spiritual world. So they actually do go to the spiritual world, and they fight the demon, the great demon hearts. Okay, so they fight, for the love of the country and for the true justice of God. So this is like a basic story of Cherry Bushido. There's more, going on, of course, but I'm not gonna tell any more than this. But this is a basic story. It's very interesting. So I think we learned from the last session in Happy Science. There's always the three important messages in every movie that we have. It's about the truth, it's about goodness, and it's about beauty, right? So this movie, he does have a truth. Okay? It's a goodness. Good always win at the end in Happy Science. Remember we talked about that. There is always an existence of evil because in order to really understand what is good, sometimes we need to have evil existence. So this is also included in this movie. Of course, there's so much beauty in this movie about heaven. Okay? It's about Yamato spirit. It's about the country, Bushido spirit. We're gonna talk about fight for justice, faith, love, okay? All these great things that we talked about last time. Okay? So please look forward for this movie. It's really exciting and excitement. It's a really good entertainment movie. So it should not be so difficult to invite your friends and family. It should not be because it has a Japanese cultural background too. You can share the culture of Japan together through this movie. But at the same time, there's so much more important messages that we need to portray. We need to share with the world today. So I'm going to talk about these messages. What is it that we want to share through this movie? Okay. So let me just turn my okay. So let's talk about the message from here. Okay. So the stage is set in Japan, as you can see. So yes, some many messages, most of them, I would say many messages are really towards Japan. I gotta be honest with you here. But for example, the Japanese government, because Japanese people view of self deprecation, looking as ourselves as every deprecation because of the past World War II, which led us to losing love of our own country and sense of responsibility to protect our own country. I guess we call it patriotism, right, in this world today. Because of that, this is going to be like a wake-up call for everyone in Japan because everyone is still asleep, not realizing the true danger what's happening today. Japanese government is still trying to stay neutral and be trying to be friendly with China and Xi Jinping, the CCP. But in general, this movie is not just about Japan, but it has very important mission messages that we need to tell to the world. So it really does connect deeply to this book, okay, the Rose of Messiah, okay, and also all the activities that the Tetsu-san is doing in England, activities of missionary work in 2022. It all comes together and combines together. So if you have not taken the seminar of the Rose of Messiah yet, please take this as soon as possible. I'm sure Kid Science is conducting this because this is very important. It all connects together. So let's talk about the message. Let me get a slide back here. So, Master gave us this comment when we started shooting this film. It was last year's March, March 2021. He said, "It's an action movie worthy of watching. It's a patriotism and evangelism movie, and I want it to be a film that conveys the justice of God. In reality, there are crises in Hong Kong, Taiwan, Burma, etc. Questions about questions and doubts being raised about the Japanese government's self-centered attitude." So that was like a message he gave us in the very, very first, beginning. So I like to have three important messages today based on what Master said. This is a patriotism, evangelism movie, and I want it to be the film that conveys justice of God. Okay. So let's talk about this. So I'm going to talk about three major points here. One is about Ame-no-Mioya-Gami. I'm sure you have heard of this name already. If not, I can explain to you in detail today. And about the importance of Bushido spirits. I'll explain to you what is Bushido spirit. And also, it's going to be the warning to the world, and not just Japan, but to the world. So the first Ame-no-Mioya-Gami. Okay. So Master gave us Ame-no-Mioya-Gami in English called Japanese Father God. Japanese Father God. But you're going to know he's not just about Japan, but he's about the world. Okay. So let's start with Ame-no-Mioya-Gami. Okay. So one of the main back theme of this movie is to spread the name of Ame-no-Mioya-Gami, especially in Japan, because its existence has not been revealed in history of mankind yet. So this is the first time this name ever comes out to the world. Okay, not in Japan, but also global as well. So I like to spend just a few minutes about talking about who's Ame-no-Mioya-Gami, okay, and the importance of Ame-no-Mioya-Gami from global perspective, not from Japan's perspective, from global perspective. So I like you to listen to or to watch the music video called the musical The Descent of Ame-no-Mioya-Gami. Just a few minutes, maybe 2 or 3 minutes of the song maybe. Mhm. So let me just share another.
降りてくる降りてくる降りてくる遥かなる彼方から降りてくる降りてくる降りてくる遥かなる宇宙よりこの大和の国を作らぬと降りてくる降りてくる偉大なる光よ降りてくる降りてくる偉大なる知恵よ光がこの地に降りたのは 遥かなる昔この国を越えて地球を輝かせるために降りてくるあらゆる悪を
Okay, thank you very much. So as the movie, the video said, he came down to shine the entire whole world beyond Japan. So, why Ame-no-Mioya-Gami now? Okay, so, because one of the important points is that the true history of Japan and also the world has been erased for uh, thousands and thousands of years. And so today's true history is a fake history, we have to say. So, as Happy Science, as a Master Riho Okawa, as a Kantare, we need to restore and bring back the true history, what really happened, what the real history is on Earth civilization. And it's kind of important, I think, because this is my thinking, but because it will change the perspective of this entire world, and because of that, it's going to change the standing point of existence of happy science. Why happy science is here on this earth today, and also existence of the country globally. So I think it's very essential to building a foundation of and establishing happy science as a true global, the universal religion going forward into the future. So that's why now is the time we have to open up and share this the teaching of Ame-no-Mioya-Gami and existence of Ame-no-Mioya-Gami. So who's Ame-no-Mioya-Gami? This few slides here again. Just a minute. Sorry about the slide thing, but okay. I'm sorry about that. I think we're here. Okay. So Ame-no-Mioya-Gami is parallel cantare. Okay, I'm sure you know. Some of you know, some of you might not, but he's parallel cantare, and he's Master told us he's close to the core consciousness of the cantare. So he said he's also a creator of the universe. These are the words that we've been given from Master. And he's from outer space. That's difference from like Buddha and even Alpha and Elohim was born on Earth. He actually flew to Earth from outer space. So he is a universal consciousness, connect directly to Alcantara. I guess we can say it that way. He was born on Earth. He flew to Earth 30,000 years ago. 30,000 years ago, with a 200,000 group of humanoid space people from Andromeda. It's a far, far away space Andromeda. Okay, and he landed by the foot side of Mount Fuji in Japan. Okay, that's why, and he founded this ancient Japanese civilization called the Fuji Dynasty. That's why he is called the Japanese Father God. Master gave us this name. And I'm sorry. Ame-no-Mioya-Gami was 25 meters tall. It's a huge, like small lesser type of a person, of God. And he had this thing called Kongoshin, which means undefeatable body. It's a bulletproof body, like a Superman. So he was like a small lesser with size of King Kong. That was a kind of it's like a kabuki, it has a kabuki face, and very strong, powerful existence. And at that time, we've been taught that Earth was in chaos of aftermath of nuclear war, the worldwide nuclear war they just had. And also, eruption of Mount Fuji was also happening at that time. So Earth was in a really chaotic situation at that time when he descended to Mount Fuji from space. So, according to the laws of the sun, okay, if you look at this map here, okay, Lemuria continent, right? It's right here. It sank 27,000 years ago, according to the laws of the sun. And people flew from Ame-no-Mioya to move, survivors, right? Flew to move. And we can also assume that the Japanese culture of Ame-no-Mioya-Gami's teaching already existed, because this is Japan here, right? And here in the not Mu, Lemuria continent. And from Lemuria, it was brought to India, and into China, and into Asia, in entire Asian country, and into Middle East, and into Europe. And it became foundation of we call it Euro-Asian civilization, right? Euro-Asian, including Asia and Europe. So of course, it had a very strong influence towards Mu continent too here. Okay? And Ramu, from we were studying, descended 17,000 years ago in Mu continent. So Ame-no-Mioya-Gami's teaching already existed in Mu continent as well, way before Ramu. Okay? Also, there's still interesting spiritual messages that we heard. So I just kind of put together a few of them. So one is that the Jewish, the Star of David, as you can see here, you know those stars, right? Hexagon, I think we call them. It comes from the symbol used in ritual prayer from Japan. Right? And also this Iran, there's a religion called Zoroastrianism, and it's about the teaching of good and evil, the right and wrong. You have to decide either instruction or like those are the teaching of Zoroastrianism. So it also came from Ame-no-Mioya-Gami. And the little picture here of the pyramid in Egypt. So Ame-no-Mioya-Gami's house used to be huge pyramid-shaped house. So the pyramid in Egypt came from Ame-no-Mioya-Gami's shape. Alpha used to live in the pyramid shape too, if you remember. And also this little picture here, this is Pangu, right? Pangu is the oldest founding father god from China. He is actually, he was about Ame-no-Mioya-Gami. That's what the spiritual message said. He was actually about Ame-no-Mioya-Gami. And this Pangu, or Ame-no-Mioya-Gami, influenced the Chinese dynasty after that. So actually it was became the origin of China as well. That is kind of surprising because history today says, all the Japan came from China. All the history came from China to Japan, but it was actually in reality, it was opposite. He went to China and kind of came back to Japan. Right. So, also America too. These Atlantis, these U.S. continent. There used to be ancient civilization in America as well. And before today's modern civilization, it used to have a red face kind of people. And they had a really deep relationship with Japan as well. Right? So there is a relationship with the American continent as well. So I'm sure there's much more truth and stories behind about this, which Master haven't revealed to us yet. I think eventually he'll talk about this much more in the future. So let's look forward for how things will unfold even more in the future. So the interesting point I realized just by looking at these maps here is that Lemuria continent it sank 27,000 years ago, okay, and Mu sank 15,000 years ago, and Atlantis continent sank 10,000 years ago. But this Japan or the civilization of Japan existed for over 30,000 years ago, over 30,000. So we can say that it is the oldest continued, high level civilization for recent years. Okay? So we can say in summary that Ame-no-Mioya-Gami influenced and became backbone of the almost all the civilization of the modern age today, okay? Leading up to today, in other words. And why? Of course, because he was part of the Kantara. He was actually in Kantara's consciousness. So he has so much influence to the world. So, this Ame-no-Mioya-Gami's existence and historical view will change the total demographic of the origin of this civilization today. It will. And, it kind of explains why Kantara is born in such a tiny island called Japan today. Master even mentioned in his lecture. I forgot which one. He said, I'm here in Japan, and this is Japan is such a tiny, tiny little island, but I'm here. So I think it was all God's plan from thousands and thousands of years ago. So whether people believe on the world believe this or not, this is the truth revealed by El Cantare. So I think we do need to go out there and start to speak about this, completely true to the world. It's not gonna be easy, and I'm sure it's gonna take maybe years and years for to really become the true history of the world. But something it has to start somewhere, and this is where I'll be starting now. Okay. So Ame-no-Mioya-Gami does not appear much in the movie. I have to be honest. When you see it, I've been talking a lot about Ame-no-Mioya-Gami now, but if you see the movie, he doesn't come out much. He's actually the object of faith, okay? And he basically voices and he gives the sword to Shizuka, but he doesn't really appear in the movie. So it's not going to be like a good talking points to invite your friend. If I mean, oh, there's God, Ame-no-Mioya-Gami, come and see the movie, because he doesn't really appear. But as Happy Science members, it's very, very important that we do understand there's a backbone message of this movie. So it's almost like a behind the scene story that I'm talking about here of the movie. But it's important that we all understand this because it changes the meaning and the dimension of this why this movie is here today. So we need to make sure this message is shared and understood across all the members around the world. It is very important to have an understanding, a common ground of understanding together around the world. Because the thoughts becomes a reality. The thoughts is what create the future of the world. So more people who understand about this, we need more people. We need more people to understand this in order for the world to really understand it. Might take years, going ahead, but this is what the important thing about Ame-no-Mioya. Okay? So there will be English book. Okay? Go back to the slide here. I'm sorry. Oh, this is a little bit awkward. This book here. This is still in Japanese, but now we're preparing an English version of this book, of Descent of Ame-no-Mioya-Gami. So it is the things that I talked about just now. It's all in this book. So please read this book, and also there's few other English subtitled lectures. Ame-no-Mioya-Gami's message, and also economics of Ame-no-Mioya-Gami, and also the earth. Well, all we need is love. Yeah, only is love. That is also El Cantare Festival's lecture was also by Steve. Okay. So let's continue studying about Ame-no-Mioya-Gami. So let's talk about the second point, okay, second message. It's about the illustration of true spirit of Bushido. This is like one of the main messages that you can really talk to your friends about. So let's talk about this for a while. So today, when you hear the word Bushido, or maybe you don't even know the word Bushido, I did some research in America. I'm actually living in Los Angeles now, and I went to a lot of movie production people and asked them around, do you know Bushido? And actually, I was surprised to hear not so many people even knew about the word Bushido. Okay. So the Bushido is it's a code of samurai. Okay, it's a samurai spirit. It's a code of samurai. Direct translation is code of samurai. And a lot of times explained as a samurai warriors spirit combined together with Zen Buddhism. Okay? And it became the spirit of the sword battle. It's called tate in Japanese. The spirit of sword battle, and in the way how you live as a samurai with a Zen Buddhism mindset, as a backbone. So that is like a samurai warrior's way. Yes. It actually started in Kamakura period. It's about 800 years ago in Japan. So it's been a while. The Bushido thing started to. And some of the famous Bushido teaching is, I put just two slides here. There's two books. It's called Hagakure, and also another one is called Bushido. Okay? Hagakure was wrote like in 1700 by this one person. His name is Nemoto Yamamoto, he was a samurai warrior, but he became a Zen Buddhist monk, and he complied through the conversation with people and put together, what it means to be a Bushido spirit, to live as a samurai. So if you're interested about this kind of Bushido, historical Bushido, you can pick up this book and do some research and study. You can Google on internet. There's so much information on Google, internet, and also YouTube as well. So, also, another famous book is called Bushido, The Soul of Japan. It's written by Nikobe Inazo. He's a very, very famous Japanese educator, economist. He was a politician as well. And I think he was a Christian. Yeah. This book, Bushido, was written in English actually, and released in New York in 1900. So it's been a while since it's been released. It is became a really famous book as well. So if you're interested, you can pick them up. Usually, just to summarize it, there's like 8 virtues of Bushido. I'm not going to go through this today, but these are the topics that these books talk about, especially Nikobe Inazo's Bushido. It really talks in detail about the true spirit of samurai Bushido spirit. So if you're interested, okay. But Master mentioned, okay, this is now from Happy Science, okay? Master mentioned in this book I have it here. In English, I guess I can translate as a modern Bushido. This is not going to be translated into English. I think that some of the lectures are already have subtitle, but not the entire book. Okay, but in this book, Master mentioned that the Bushido spirit, samurai, code of samurai, it goes much wider than in Japan. But it's actually global, he said. Um, he said in this book that Bushido is like a way of life of a brave figure, a brave individual who choose the way of justice, choose justice beyond their own self-profit or self-desire or greed. So they put their life for somebody else, for something that is bigger and to fight for it. So for justice. So those are kind of, I guess, heroes of today's, like Avengers. I guess they have all the Bushido spirits as well inside. So kind of must have mentioned about this. And he mentioned about few great figures. I'm just gonna talk about maybe two people here. One is about Lincoln. Everybody know about Lincoln, right? Lincoln, he put his entire life to end slavery in the United States, America, because he knew it was against God's will and he was called from God to do this mission. So it was a mission given to him from God. So he did it. But in order to complete his mission, over 600,000 people's life was lost. That's a lot of people. You really think about it. Going through the war, civil war, and that's because of his decision, his action. So he struggled so much because he knew he was, because of his decision, there's so many people, young people, young gentlemen and women's lives are lost. But he knew he had to go through it, so he went through it. And as we all know, he was assassinated at the theater. He was killed, right? He was shot, dead. But he saw 3 times in his dreams that he was going to be killed. He actually saw it, but yes, so he knew he was going to be assassinated when he walked into the theater. But he went there anyway. It was just his way of Bushido spirit. He did his job. He did what he needed to do. So now he had to just take responsibility. So he went in as a brave man. You know about JFK, right? JF Kennedy. Also Kennedy too. He was told by Gene Dixon. Gene Dixon is one of the best-known American psychic and also astrologer. Astrologer, you call them? Is the people who do the star reading things. And she told him, "Do not go south because you're going to be killed." So he knew there might be something going on there, but he went there anyway. JFK. Okay? Same as Julius Caesar, like I talked about Caesar in Rome. He also again he saw a dream. Right? He knew he was going to be assassinated somehow. But Brutus, right? He was also his best friend, and he knew but at the same time, he already knew that it was time for him to leave because his mission to build the Roman Empire was completed. So he kind of knew himself it was time for him to go. So he was brave and honest about himself. So he went there and he was also assassinated. So these are all great things. I mean, I'm not saying, ending your life in that way is the Bushido spirit. That's not I'm trying to say. It's just that it's a spirit of the person. Putting your life, for something that is much, much greater on yourself. It's for the love, something greater, love of the God. Realizing God's wish and God's desire. That is like a Bushido spirit. So Master even said Bushido spirit goes way beyond global. Okay? It exists before samurai era. This is where Ame-no-Mioya-Gami comes in. Okay? So Ame-no-Mioya-Gami is he actually brought the original spirit of Bushido, samurai spirit, to Earth when he came to Earth 30,000 years ago, and that's why it became the backbone spirit of Japanese civilization today, because he's a Japanese father god. And from then on, it spread across to the world. I just shared. Okay? So the Bushido spirit that we want to convey in this movie, which goes beyond just what the Bushido of a traditional way of thinking, because it really connects to Ame-no-Mioya's teachings. So in this movie, there's a lot of things seen about what he thought about justice, and God's justice, and the importance of fighting for justice and not to accept the cowardness of your heart. You have to be brave and fight for it. So there's a lot of scenes about justice, fighting for the good. Okay? And of course, you fight not for yourself, but for your own country, for the ones that you love, the people. It's called patriotism. And it is the act of selfless love, of course, and you put your life into mission for others. Okay? This is what we talked about, Bushido spirit. So this Bushido spirit is also a very important message in this movie as well. We also talk about, or we talked about in this movie about the importance of self-discipline, training your soul, because we have the science, and have a strong mindset, strong mind. And this is a spirit or teachings of the dojo in Yamato Shinkan's dojo teaching. So you learn about that. Also, important teaching of Ichinichi Issho. It's called live today as if it were your last day. Live today as if this today is your last day. It's a soulmanship. It also connects directly to the Bushido spirit. Because in the samurai days, a life is for samurais, right? Life and death was back to back every day. Because when they're walking down the street, if they meet somebody, if they have to draw the sword out, that's when you know either you're going to live or die. It's like a moment of death and life, right? So this moment can come to samurai any time of any day. So this is where the teaching comes from, as a core Bushido spirit. Live your day, a day as if it is your last day. It's about the noble mindset and it's about decisiveness. Okay? So also Master talked about that in this book as well. And he mentioned, think about what you can do today. Okay? Because today might be your last day of your life. So you have to think about what you can do today. What is it that you should do? And what is it that you are going to regret if you do not do it today? If you know what it is, you know what to do today. So these are the messages Master gave us in this book as well. So this is about live today as if your last day. He also in this movie there's importance about harmony, the order, the love of honor and respect. That is the heart of the Japanese Yamato spirit, really, really deep inside the Japanese spirit. And the most important is about faith. Okay? It's a core value which leads to God and beyond into true spirituality. So having faith is also important in happy science Bushido spirit. So this is where it's really different compared to, let me put this slide here. Let me go back to one slide here. The difference between the traditional way of Bushido. The traditional way of Bushido, like in Hagakure, the very famous the word is about the way of warrior is to die. How to die as a warrior. That is like the way of warrior and warrior Bushido. That's like the main thing in Hagakure, right? But it doesn't mean you have to end your life like going to do the harakiri thing, right? That's not what he's saying. He's saying always be aware of death. Okay? That's how you can really become free of your soul, and that's how you can fulfill your mission. Just like live your day as if if it's today is your last day. But Happy Science Bushido or Ame-no-Mioya-Gami's Bushido goes beyond that. Like in traditional Bushido, right, it ends up to the point where you die. You know what I mean? It's like that death is the last moment of your life. That is like true Bushido spirit. Okay? I mean Bushido spirit in conventional way. If you take a look at that cherry blossom, a lot of times this traditional way of the Bushido spirit is portrayed as cherry blossom, because cherry blossom it blossoms 20%, 50%, and 100%. It blossoms, right? When it comes to full bloom, as soon as it becomes full bloom, or before it becomes full bloom, what happens is it starts to fall. So we call it the shower or the wind of cherry blossom. It showers. It looks probably like this. I'm sorry. It looks like this, right? I'm sure you've seen. It's a beautiful shower of blossoms, cherry blossoms. So the cherry blossoms. The moment, the most beautiful moment where it's full bloom, that's when it ends. So that's how you should end your life, the full bloom. And right after full bloom, you should just bloom, fade away. So that's like a really symbolizes the Bushido spirit in a traditional way. But happy science, so Ame-no-Mioya-Gami goes beyond that, because penetrate through faith into the spirituality and spiritual world. So Bushido spirit is same as enlightenment. It really connects to enlightenment of happy science. So it's really difficult to truly understand what the true meaning of Bushido spirit is, because it is exactly same as enlightenment. Okay? And Master gave us, he actually spent some time teaching us this true spirit of Bushido that penetrates through to the other world and faith. So he actually visited actors and actresses when they were practicing, okay, and he showed them how, and he instructed them the sword fight. But none of us, including the producers, could understand the true meaning of the Bushido spirit. That's why actually he appears at the end credit of the movie. You'll see, very end when the end roll, the names are listing up. I will show a little clip of Master actually, showing us how to do a Japanese sword fight. So this is about the Bushido spirit. Okay? You watch the movie, and I think you can feel, excuse me, some of the things that I mentioned today. So let's continue study deep about the Bushido spirit. Okay, we need to understand it. We need to deeply understand it, and at the same time, we also want to share with the people about this spirit. Yeah. Okay, so let's talk about the last one. The last one is about the warning, okay, and the wake-up call to the world. Because there's a real danger and threat, okay, of China. And not, I don't mean China as a Chinese people, okay, or Chinese country. I'm talking about Xi Jinping and Chinese Communist Party, CCP. It's about authoritarianism, it's about monotheism, it's a dictatorship. Okay? And we have to stop CCP, also Kim Jong-un as well. So this is one of the main topic, in this movie as well. It's so much more direct than the Lord of the Universe, the Age of Development. We did do the same messaging, right? To warn the world about the dark side of the universe and how it's connected to CCP. But this movie, as you can see with this slide, it really connect directly to show the danger and that the message is that we need to take real action against this. And this is really towards Japan mainly because Japan is still asleep, as I explained. But it goes to the world. This message has to be spread to the world, okay? Because we need to protect our freedom and also the freedom of faith and democracy, okay, against all the threats we have. And Happy Science members, we already know what's coming in the future. Okay. Actually, if you really think about it, us Happy Science members are the only people on this entire earth. Okay, there's millions and billions of people living on this earth, but we are the only ones who actually knows what's coming in the future. We're the only ones. Why? Because Master has been teaching us about this, right? So we know that from there's a Nostradamus. You can see here, right? I don't know if you haven't seen it. I strongly suggest you watch this lecture. He predicts what's going to happen in the future. Also, there is Xi Jinping and also Biden's spiritual message. I think it was the beginning of this year or maybe the end of last year. I think beginning of this year. And Xi Jinping talks about he has 1,500 variants of COVID, and 10 or 15 is already ready to be used and spread. And so we know this COVID thing is not going to stop, and it's gonna continue on for a while. Okay, and also we heard about how weak Biden is. Okay, and the weakness of Biden, we always seen it. And as you can see, what's happening today, Russia and Ukraine issue is getting much more attention here today. Okay, and the Middle East is still very, very unstable. Iran president just visited Putin. I think it was like last week or 2 weeks ago. So it's something going on there. North Korea launching missile this year. They actually launched it yesterday too. So it's I think the seventh time just in this one month period of time. Okay, and as we have seen the volcano reaction, it was like a nuclear or the hydrogen bomb scale. You can say it influenced the entire world. So that's something. Like there must be either a test or the good side or bad side. We don't know, but it's not normal. Okay, what we're seeing here today. And if you really think about it, it's just January. It's still January. It's the 30th, but it's still January. It's only been 1 month. And we are starting to see the things unfold already. And there's the latest reading, dream reading of Master Ryogokawa just came out a couple of days ago. It was about the reading about the Master of El Cantare holding the conference up in space, gathering thousands of space people, talking to them the future of the Earth, what's going to happen to Earth going forward, and kind of getting the understanding of all the space people mind. So this is what's going to happen to Earth. And from what we hear, this is going to be a very, very, very difficult time we're going to face. Not just this year, but it's going to be continuing on for the years ahead. More natural disasters coming. There's going to be more conflict, the war coming, and it's going to continue. So we already know this, and we are the only ones actually know this entire truth. No one else in this world knows it. That is actually scary. It's amazing, but also it's scary. It kind of shows us, if we don't go out there and speak out, no one else is able to speak out. So, this movie is kind of very important because it does lead to all these global issues that's happening today, and it's a critical issue going forward for Earth's future. This movie was originally given to us from Master, original story, 4 years ago, in 2017, 2018. So at that time, he already wrote the script. Of course, we changed the script a little as we go through, because history, in the past 4 years, things has changed a little bit. But look where we're today and what Master gave us 4 years ago. Okay, so he already knew this was coming. So now it is a time to really spread this teaching or this movie message, because this is a weapon the Master gave us. It's the light weapon of light to fight the darkness of it. So, so these are some of the messages, these three important messages that I talked about today. But you need to, each country or each region is different. How they perceive the world and their stance is also different. Europe is more towards going towards the left wing side is more of the issue, maybe, right? So each country has a different issues, a different characters and tendencies of today. So after you watch this movie, please gather together with members and discuss, how best to use this movie to really spread the word about the science and also spread the word of wisdom to the people, okay, in England and people in this world as well. The lastly, there's 6 great songs. I think we talked about the song last time a little bit. Songs are great tools to spread the message and also to understand. And so please, even though these are Japanese, there will be a translation of English wordings. It's the voices master's Buddha's word. So please study them and understand more deeply beforehand about this movie. There's 4 songs already released, and there's 2 more coming very soon. Okay, so that kind of summarized my session for this movie. Before I close, I just want to talk about a little bit about how to invite people. Okay, I think it's kind of important. Some little tips about how to invite people here. Oh, I'm sorry, I wasn't showing you the slide. I just realized. Shoot, sorry about that. Let me just show you the slide quickly. What I was saying. So these are the some of the lectures that you can watch now, okay, about the Biden, Xi Jinping, Nostradamus, etc. You saw this slide, right? And also, these are the songs that have been going to be released, 6 songs.
Uzebi-san, you have 30 minutes more.
Oh, okay. That's more. I only need 5 more minutes, so is it okay?
Yeah, okay.
Okay.
I tell them that including the Q&A session, it will conclude at 5 p.m. That's why you have 30 minutes to talk.
Oh, okay. No, I don't. No, that's wait. That's a lot. I don't have that much time. I'm not to talk about. Okay, so just maybe 5-10 minutes on tips and how to utilize this Cherry Bushido for your missionary work. Okay? Because this is why we're here. Science is to do missionary work. So this is it's a weapon, okay, given by Master. So what we need to do is upload, load up the bullet and shoot it out. That's what you need to do first, is to shoot it out. And but people might say, I have the bullet, but I don't know how to load it. Some people might say, I don't know how to use it. I can load it, but I don't know how to use this weapon. Or like, I don't know how to hold this weapon. Or you might say, like, I'm sorry, but I don't even hold this weapon, right? So we are all different. Okay? Even though we are all happy science believers, we understand we're all different. I'm different, you're different, and readiness is different too. So it's very normal, and it's okay to be different, right? So there's no wrong way of doing the missionary or the inviting people. But what I like to talk about is the importance of how to set your mindset, because to really understand honestly how you feel now today, okay? I think that is very important, because you have to be honest with yourself. You can't make up your own self. You cannot be a fake self. Must have been talking about this recently. Do not be fake. We don't need to be fake anymore. We have to be real. Okay? So either black and white and gray zone, no gray zone. Okay? And honesty, integrity. It kind of leads to Bushido spirit too. So you need to be really honest with yourself. So when we talk about missionary work or inviting people to the movies, think about how you feel. Okay? Truly, when like Ted-san asked you, so let's invite people, to this movie. This is our mission. But you need to, put that into yourself and really think about. So how do I feel about it? What is my feeling when I hear that? You have to be really, really honest about how you feel. And it doesn't matter what the people next to you thinking. You might be really excited to go out there, but maybe you're not. Then you cannot compare. You cannot say, I don't want to be like him or her. I'll never be like him or her. You don't have to be like that. Okay? What's important is it's great opportunity for each one of us to really understand about ourselves. Okay, so be honest, feel the honesty, how you feel. That's where you start. If you like yourself, you not be able to go to the next step. I think you understand what I'm trying to say. So if you don't feel comfortable, inviting the people, that's fine. But don't just say, okay, I'm not comfortable, so I'm not inviting them. Think about why you feel that way. Why is it that is stopping you from doing it? Is it the faith that you really don't have the truth? You really don't believe in Master Okara or Elton yet? Or is it you do but you are scared? Or there has to be some reason why you feel that way. So what's important is to really, really dig into yourself and find out the core essence of why you're feeling it. It's not about mission, it could be about anything in your life. You have to really dig in and find out the true meaning. Okay, that's contemplation, that's called contemplation. So it's a great opportunity when Tetsu-san said, let's go invite some people. Think about how you feel and what you want to do. Okay? This is the Bushido script. Okay? And when you know how you feel, what's important is to take the next step forward. Just one step forward. You don't have to take 10 steps forward. Just one step is fine. Okay? Again, in order to take the one step forward, you have to understand how you honestly feel about yourself. Okay? That's the only way you can take the one step. If you try to take 10 steps forward, you won't be able to because that's too far away of a step. But one step is not that difficult. Okay? And sometimes, it could be challenging and maybe you need some courage. And that's why you have your members, your Dharma friends, and you have Tetsan. You can talk honestly with Tetsan. Tetsan, I don't feel like inviting people. I just don't feel like it. What is it that I can do as a next step? I'm sure he can guide you to do. So just be honest about it. And why is this honest one step forward is important? Okay? This is the important part. Okay, why is it important that you take one step forward? Because by doing that, you're turning the wheel of your destiny with your own power of your mind. Okay? So once you start to turn your destiny, okay, with your power of your mind, step one going one forward, you turn. And once you start to turn it, the wheel is going to be bigger and bigger and bigger, little by little, going forward. So eventually, the wheel is going to get so much bigger, and your destiny is going to change. And eventually, it will become a realized. First, you start with your mind, right? But at the end of the day, it becomes a reality in your life, and it's going to start to change your real life. It's going to happen. That's the power of the mind, and like a missionary work, going towards missionary work, really will cultivate your soul, and it's going to change because that's the mission. And that's the reason why you're here today. So you might need some courage. So I'm not saying go over 10 steps. All I'm saying is take that one small step forward because that will help you turn the wheel in yourself. And maybe you might not know how to turn the wheel. So I'm going to show you one very easy tip that anybody can do. Okay, it is a power prayer. Ted-san probably talks about this all the time. It's power prayer. So the recommendation I would like to give you today, to turn the wheel, okay, of missionary in yourself, is in this, that prayer to Ekantare. Okay, within the prayer to Ekantare, there's a prayer called prayer to join the happy science movement. It's very direct, right? And I'm sure you all read prayer to Ekantare, hopefully every day. I hope so, every day, right? But I don't know how many of you actually read prayer to join happy science movement every day. I don't know. Maybe you do. You do. Great. But if you don't, think about this. Okay? Especially when you have something that you want to move forward or change the wheel of turn the wheel of your fortune in your life. Because this prayer is not long and it's so powerful. And it's really about it's about Bushido spirit actually, if you think about it. Because in this book, where is it? It says, may you give us power, give us courage, give us the will to act, shining wisdom, powerful words, strong determination, unlimited patience, a never give up mind, and brave fighting spirit. This is all how Bushido spirit we're talking about. So, this prayer is so powerful. If you don't know how to go about it, you take the first step. The first step you can do is to recite this every day. Okay, we're together with prayer. So this is my little tip is to turn the wheel, like going over just one step forward. Okay? Each one of us is different. So there's no one way or one answer, but I can only give you advice on how to really think about it, utilize it for your own spirit and your soul to move forward. Okay? So lastly, I just like to talk about happiness mapping because I'm sure Tetsu-san is trying to gather some happiness mapping for this movie. I'm sure he wants to show this movie outside theater somewhere, okay, and invite other people. And so happiness planting, okay, from happiness, from my point of view, as a producer of a movie or the person or lecturer at Happy Science Organization, we definitely need your support. Okay? This is like we need your support with happiness planting. Because movie activity is not it's worldwide activity, but it's not a commercial activity. It's not business. Okay, we're not making tons of money out of this. I wish we could, but at this point we're not. And it is really about the religious activity of spreading message first. It's mission activity 100%. So in order for us to move forward, we do need all your support. Okay? So happiness planting is what supporting our activities. That's why it's really important. And from your point of view, it's a pure act of love to happy science and towards Kanta and Master Evolution. So, more happiness planting you participate in, happier your life will going to be, okay, going forward. Because happiness planting, as its name says, is the planting of seeds of happiness for your future. Okay? And it's the laws of cause and effect. We all know. You do something, and there's always action and reaction. So happiness planting is the action of planting the seeds of your own happiness for the future. Okay? So why? Because it shows a direct gratitude to El Cantare. Planting happiness planting is a direct gratitude to El Cantare. Okay? So it is one of the most precious act of selfless love. Okay? And it's showing a pure gratitude to El Cantare. So of course, that is going to affect your soul deeply. It's going to affect your soul. Of course, in future, and also in a very positive way. Okay? And at the same time, it will help us move forward the salvation movement. Okay? And it will bring happiness to your life. So that's the power of happiness planting. So be positive and be proactive about how to think about happiness planting. It's not about how much you do and how many times you do. It's about each time you do, that the mind, the energy, the gratitude, and pure wish of hope for happy science and also to protect your contact. That is the most important thing. Okay? So again, happiness planting is not something you do because you're asked to do from that sun. It's not. It's about, it has to come from within yourself. So again, you have to search yourself. Okay. So when you think about, let's say, okay, you think about happiness planting now. Let's say I say, I need your support, with the movie, happiness planting, and you might say, let's see how you feel about it. Because again, what you feel honestly is what's most important. Okay? So be honest about yourself, how you feel about it. If there's anything that's stopping you, something negative about it, think about what is it. What's negative about the feeling that you have? If you don't know what is it, you can talk to your friend, dumb friend, you can talk to that stuff. Again, recommendation. Again, go back to this. Okay, is to recite this one. Okay, Sutra on the virtue of happiness planting. Okay, again, if you don't know where to go, recite this every day. So this prayer of Ekantare set, the three sets of these prayers, this is so important. Okay? So, if there's any takeaways that you want from today's the session, think about these three prayers and recite it today, starting today, okay, every day, three prayers, and make sure it's going to change your, it will change something inside of you. Okay? So today I'd like to close the session by watching the very short lecture from Master Rihon.
その神としては、雨の庭やっていう神が存在すると。宇宙創造の神にしても根本心。その雨の庭や神の教えとは何であるかということですが、戦うべき時は戦うと考え方を持っているということですね。善悪の観念を教えてたと推定されますね。指導がやっぱり何が正しいかということだったらあったと思うんですよ。日本の特に後期で動いていくような生き方っていうのはですね、やっぱり日本の文化遺産としての武士道があるということをどうかを思い起こしですね、善悪政治を分かすときは分かち、けじめをつけるときはけじめをつけ、物事をきちっとやはり、筋を追っていくというかね、そういう考え方が大事なんではないかなと思います。私はもう25年も前から不釈信頼でやっております。だから皆様方、私はたくさんの教えを残してきました。これだけでも十分世界を救えると思います。やれることはやってください。そして私の命がある限り、まだまだ続けます。最後は出てきてください。宗教家が他においでしないとは思っておりません。上に命は捨てております。真理のために戦います。この戦いを命尽きるまでやめません。
Okay, thank you very much, Tetsu-san. Let's complete my session.
Okay. Can you please show us movie trailer? Some of them don't know what the contents of the movie.
I did not show the trailer today?
Not yet, maybe.
Did I or
No.
did I miss? Oh, I'm sorry. I missed to show you the trailer. I'm sorry about that. Okay, that's very important miss. Okay, I'll show you the trailer now.
今の日本では大和魂は死んでしまったに等しい。
一日一生後はどういう意味かな。
今日、命があったことを天に感謝する。そして日々、今日で命が終わる。
日本の源流に息づく武士道の精神。立つことの先にあるものを見なければならない。に残された時間はわずか。
それは共和国がミサイル実験を行う予定。
そこに日本の未来をご決断を。
願います。
霊界から操っている存在がいることが分かってきたんです。あなたがこの国を守る。
それが私の信念だ。
子孫にして動かされた。まだ俺、離されない。勇気は死を覚悟した時に初めて出てくるものです。この国に命をかけて守る意味なんてない。今、日本の未来をかけた戦いが始まる。
君のこの国を守るために命をかけたものですよ。
愛国女子、紅武士道。
愛国の方。
Okay. Sorry about that.
Okay. All right. Thank you very much. And
Thank you.
yes, I'll give you guys big hands for him. Thank you very much. So, and then we will have a 10 minutes break. And then from 4:35, we will have a Q&A session with him. Okay? So you can understand more about the Samurai Spirit, the contents of the movie. All right. So, and then we have a 10 minutes break from now. And happy, yeah, 4:35.
Why not
Okay.
4:30?
Like that. 10 minutes.
Why
Okay.
not 4:30?
Huh?
8 minutes, isn't it?
Yeah, no, 4:30. Why not 4:30?
Okay, fine. Then I 4:30. Okay. All right. Then from 4:30 we will have a Q&A session. Okay. Thank you very much. And keep the channel here. Okay. So don't turn off Ichiko-san. Okay. Please keep them. And also other people who watch this lecture through YouTube, you can join through the Zoom channel. Okay. I sent you to through the email. You can click on the Zoom channel. Okay, from 4:30, you can join the Q&A session. Thank you very much. Thank you. Okay, 10 minutes break.
Bye.
Thank you for coming.
Thank you.
Today, we'll start here. Okay, so like this. So maybe you'd like to have like a time to talk with me, and then
We're going to head off now. We're going to head off now.
okay.
So I'll be back. We'll probably come in tomorrow to see you.
Oh,
Francis has just had her first introduction, so I think we'll,
great. Thank you. How's it feeling?
A little bit overwhelmed.
yeah, I thought that. I think that's why it's like,
Yeah.
let it digest.
Yeah.
It's intense stuff, isn't it?
Yeah, it
Like,
really is.
it's not the usual,
Yeah, it's
but
not.
when you get your head around it, it's like,
Yeah, it's amazing when you get your head
it makes
around it.
sense.
It becomes almost normal.
Yeah,
Yeah, but you have to kind of digest it
yeah,
and process it.
yeah. I like the meditation rooms.
Oh, I love the meditation.
It's weird. Wow. I remember mentioned before, the president of the Spiritualist Church in France is the vice president, but we leave this week. And so we deal with weird stuff. You know, when you say to them, oh, I speak to them people, blah, blah, blah. And then it's like, oh, this is like the next level.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. You know, it's incredible, isn't it?
And just before we wow. And on the way here, we stopped. We walked
It's inside, just decoration. But
we were like, how is that time on here?
yeah, your timing is always on it. You're always on point.
Oh.
It seems like coming into
I have more time now, so let's see more Stella.
I know, probably like it's really good.
But yeah, I know. You live locally, don't you?
Yeah, that's why. So it's really accessible for me. Just like
I love living around.
yeah, it's nice. It's lovely. It is a true
She lives up the
blessing.
road, she's like,
Where's your mum?
she used to live in Mayfair, but
She didn't like it, why not?
she just didn't live local.
If you
So,
have seen the last
so you know,
40
when
years,
she come
we
out,
had
she was
World
like,
War
oh,
I.
it's so funny. That's the same
So she'd
people.
enjoy
We have
South
all
London.
issues.
That's why she is in
Oh,
class.
there you go. I knew it.
It's how you
She'd feel more at home.
as you
I think
do.
she'd enjoy it.
Let anything happen outside. I go to the strong.
Oh, then problems. That's why.
How do I become strong? How do I become strong? Whatever happens outside
No, I
should not
understand
affect
everything that's going on.
Things are going to happen.
So many things
They're not gonna affect you.
and there's so
It
many
should
things
not
that
affect. It should
happen
not affect. So how do I do that?
that have tied into what's
How do I do that? How do I become strong? Exactly.
How
Yeah.
to protect you.
Whatever is
Okay.
happening, whatever is
Yeah,
happening outside is not in my control.
Yes.
What is in my
So we're
control?
going to maybe this week. We're leaving church this week. We're quitting
Yes.
the spiritualist church.
Russia is Ukraine.
Yeah.
What will happen?
Yeah.
Let it happen.
Let it go.
It's
And
holding
then
us back.
What can you do for yourself?
It was like when I always say it, but
Okay, okay.
What are you doing? See the secret of living is you.
Email or
So what are you, the minute you start giving,
Can
you
I
put
be
your
coming
smile.
in?
Yeah.
Okay,
So
sure.
you just be saying
Don't
a
go
kind
into
word.
business.
Okay,
You can try to
I
You can just be a kind word. See the minute you start giving,
Talking by
the universe will give you
give
back.
by Masayu Hoka.
And you feel you sleep peacefully.
You will.
You will sleep
Okay, and then
peacefully.
if you get just
That is important.
you can get those.
What about when you get a lot
Can I do
of
that?
Don't get
Next
when you good, when you good, and you
okay, okay.
Even if you get a member, no obligation.
I don't
You
take
don't need
things
to talk.
personally.
You just
There
say,
are four
I
agreements. There are four agreements. That will be impeccable with my word.
Yeah.
And next time when you come, you understand, you can get the copy.
I don't,
Yeah.
Okay, sure.
I don't assume in general, we start assuming things. This person has a certain need, and then I start assuming. Don't assume. Don't assume anything.
Oh, I see what you mean, yeah. No, don't assume,
Don't
don't,
assume.
yeah, don't
Because
give
our
them.
thoughts
Yeah.
are, we start assuming a lot of things, that is a problem.
Yeah,
Okay?
okay, so don't have prejudice, that what you would call that
Don't,
prejudice.
yeah.
Yeah.
Don't take anything personally.
Mm-hmm.
Don't take anything personally.
Okay, that's a bit, it's not that much.
Yeah, it's not easy, but it is there in a book called the Four Agreements.
And where book is that, the law or the, which one?
There is a book called the Four Agreements.
Oh,
Are you taking those? I put mine in.
Oh, okay,
Yeah.
okay. Yeah. And what's, okay, these are the two, what's the
Give me.
third and the fourth?
I'll tell you what is impeccable with your words.
Second?
Take anything personally.
Mhm. Then-
Don't assume.
Mhm. And four?
Fourth is always do your best.
Okay.
Four
Okay.
agreements. If you follow these four agreements, you are happy.
Oh, yeah. This is-
Okay, once stop it, and then you can go to Zoom meeting. Thank you.
This
I
happy
was
for no
expecting
reason.
a movie. I don't understand why this
Happy
is.
for no reason.
Yeah.
This is a book. You have to follow this 21 principle. If you want to be happy, body, mind, spirit, follow this. You can take a snapshot. Go to this book. If you want, you can
Is
take a
it,
snapshot.
is it one of
Happy for